He said 7 words that a whole club is still trying to recover from. A transfer is the best option. Julián Álvarez didn't whisper it in a corridor. He said it into a camera, in front of the world, moments after an Argentina match. And nothing at Atletico Madrid has been the same since. Now the World Cup winner is walking back into that dressing room on August 10th, and waiting for him is the one man who can end this or bury it, Diego Simeone. Nobody knows what happens when that door closes, but someone is about to lose. Before continuing, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos, and tell us in the comments which city you're watching from. Understand who we're talking about. This isn't a squad player kicking up dust. This is a striker who left Manchester City after Premier League titles and a Champions League because he refused to live in Erling Haaland's shadow. Atletico paid a blockbuster fee to sign him, and he hinted at his hunger for a bigger role from his very first day. He is a World Cup champion. He is Barcelona's #1 target for the coveted number 9 shirt, and he is, right now, the most wanted man in Spanish football. So when a player like that stands in front of the cameras and says he wants out, it doesn't pass quietly. It detonates. And the man who has to absorb the blast is a coach who has built his entire empire on one rule: nobody is bigger than Atletico. Look back, and the signs were flashing for months. Álvarez made his desire public on June 23rd, right after Argentina faced Austria at the World Cup. That wasn't a slip. That was a message. Then reports began to surface that his relationship with Simeone had cooled, that the striker felt boxed in. The word from Mundo Deportivo was blunt. Simeone's rigid demands were stifling him, forcing him to cover so much ground at both ends that he couldn't hurt teams where it mattered. A player who wanted to score was being asked to run. Meanwhile, in Catalonia, the machinery was already turning. Álvarez reportedly believes Barcelona is the perfect place to start enjoying his football again, with Hansi Flick's possession game offering the freedom he craves. The pieces were quietly lining up. Almost nobody connected them yet. Then the pressure became a vice. Barcelona stopped hinting and started acting. President Joan Laporta publicly confirmed the Catalans had launched a formal transfer bid. Lamine Yamal, Barcelona's teenage sensation, openly encouraged Álvarez to come, calling them the best club in the world. A rival club's players were now recruiting him in public. And the clock, brutal. Laporta set an August 10th deadline. No deal by then, and Barcelona walked to alternative targets. August 10th, the exact day Álvarez reports back for training. Behind the scenes, Deco met with the striker's representatives to outline a joint strategy to force the move through. 2 camps, 1 deadline, and a player caught between the club that owns him and the club he dreams of. Everything was converging on a single week. And one conversation nobody could predict. Here's the detail that changes everything. Álvarez doesn't think an agent settles this. He doesn't think Laporta settles this. Álvarez believes a direct conversation with Diego Simeone could be the key to breaking the deadlock, that he is the only person capable of doing it. Sit with that. The player is going to walk up to the most feared, most stubborn coach in Spain and try to talk his way out of the building. He plans to explain why he wants to join Barcelona, to say plainly that he is unhappy in Madrid and wants to be happy playing for Barcelona. This isn't a transfer request on paper. It's a face-to-face confrontation between a global superstar and the man whose whole identity is refusing to blink. And no one can promise how Simeone reacts, because Simeone isn't the wall here. Someone else is. Atletico continue to regard Álvarez as a key player and have flatly rejected letting him join a direct La Liga and Champions League rival. And the hardest no of all comes from the boardroom. CEO Miguel Ángel Gilmarín remains inflexible, insisting Álvarez will not be sold and will be made to honor his contract unless a club triggers the staggering release clause. That clause? Reports place it around a jaw-dropping figure in the hundreds of millions of euros, a number designed to make a sale impossible. So the sides couldn't be further apart. Barcelona agreed personal terms with the player some time ago. The player wants to go. The coach is caught in the middle. And the executive holding the pen simply refuses to lift it. Someone has to break. And pride is on every side of the table. So, where does this end? Path 1. The deadline passes, nothing moves, and a new season under Simeone becomes the most probable outcome, with Álvarez even advised to apologize publicly to cool the anger of the Rojiblanco fans. Path 2. Barcelona raise their offer slightly to force the deal through. The face-to-face softens Simeone, and Atletico's resistance finally cracks before August 10th. Path 3. The move gets pushed to the winter window if it can't be completed now, the saga dragging on for months. Which is likeliest? Honestly, the reporting leans toward Atletico holding firm and Álvarez staying, at least for now. The board hasn't moved an inch. But football has a way of making the impossible happen at the last second. And here's the thread almost everyone missed. Watch how Simeone answered when asked. He subtly cautioned Álvarez by referencing Antoine Griezmann, the star who left Atletico for Barcelona and then came back. Think about why a coach reaches for that specific name. It's not random. It's a warning dressed as a memory. Players who chase this dream have walked out that door before, and Atletico has seen how it ends. Simeone even admitted, "I don't think it's the time to talk, but I can't hide either." Read between those lines. A coach who says he can't hide is a coach with something he's holding back. That single Griezmann reference may tell you more about how this ends than any transfer bid. So what actually happens from here? Everything points to one single date, August 10th. It's the day Álvarez reports back for pre-season. And it's the exact deadline Laporta set for Barcelona. No deal by then, and the club moves on to other targets. That's not a coincidence. It's a collision marked on the calendar. On one side, a player who has already decided he wants out. On the other, a board that hasn't moved an inch. And in the middle sits the one conversation everyone is waiting for. Álvarez believes he, and only he, can break the deadlock by speaking directly to Simeone, sitting him down and explaining plainly that he's unhappy in Madrid and wants to be happy at Barcelona. But don't expect fireworks in public. There will be no act of rebellion. The striker plans to report on time and settle it face-to-face after Atletico's tour. The real war is happening in the boardroom, and it has a name. CEO Miguel Ángel Gilmarín remains inflexible, insisting Álvarez will honor his contract unless someone triggers a release clause set at a staggering figure in the hundreds of millions of euros. That number isn't a price. It's a wall built to make a sale impossible. And this is where Simeone's mask slips. He reached for one specific name to warn his striker. Antoine Griezmann, the star who left for Barcelona and came crawling back to Atletico. A coach doesn't pull out that memory by accident. It's a caution dressed as history. We've seen how this dream ends. So watch closely. Simeone himself admitted, "I don't think it's the time to talk, but I can't hide either." A man who says he can't hide is a man holding something back. So here's where it truly stands. Confirmed, Álvarez wants Barcelona, Barcelona want Álvarez, and personal terms between player and club already exist. Still only rumor. The exact fee, whether Barcelona will raise their offer, and whether any face-to-face on earth can move a board that keeps saying no. And the most likely outcome, as of today, the reporting leans toward Atletico digging in. With a new season under Simeone described as the most probable scenario, and Álvarez even advised to publicly apologize to cool the anger of the Rojiblanco fans. But football has a habit of tearing up the script in the final hours. One deadline, one conversation, one clause standing between a player and his dream. So I'll leave you with this. If you were Julián Álvarez, sitting across the table from Diego Simeone, would you have the nerve to look him in the eye and ask to leave? Tell me in the comments. Smash the like, hit subscribe, and stay close. Because the moment that dressing room door opens on August 10th, you're going to want to hear exactly what was said.